It has nothing to do with male, female. My rank says that I should know how to do certain things. And if I don't, and somebody dies or somebody gets hurt or somebody gets fucked up, that's on me, and I'm not about to let that happen. So both my parents were Marines, both of them. And I was actually born on Pendleton at the Naval Hospital. So there was certain things, military background, things that I didn't understand were connected with that. I just thought it was a normal upbringing. One day, my best friend pulled up in the driveway and said, "You quit gymnastics, I'll quit school, and we'll join the Marine Corps." I said, "Okay, let's go." I went to the Marine Corps, recruiter, and talked to them. They told us that doesn't work, and then we had to go to the Navy, so then we went to a different office and went to the Navy. And then in my head, as I was leaving the Navy recruiting office, I envisioned everybody in their blues except for me. And I was like, oh, that just doesn't look right. I can't do that. I told my best friend, I was like, I don't know about you, but I'm joining the Marine Corps. You can do whatever you want. And I think it was 2 months later, we left for boot camp. I mean, it was challenging, but it was fun. I had a blast. 2004 was the first deployment. Second deployment was 2008. I was able to be part of the PSD team. I taught McMap while I was out there. I not only taught McMap, I did the conditioning for any type of courses that they had out there. In 2008, I was also attached to 1-2, and that was fun. I really enjoyed being the only female out there and being the first female to really work with them. I trained that entire mobile assault company from tan belt to green belt by myself. And the level of respect that I got, and just watching them increase, and then being a part of the stuff that they were patrols and going out on convoys with them that they allowed me to do because I was able to hold my own was great. The best part of that was I was finally with a grunt, something I've always wanted. The bond that they have it really was something that I was proud to be a part of. I was always the one giving in a support unit, and being that mentor, being that sister, being that, that comrade, and being there for others, but I never really received a lot of that back. And this is the first time that I did. That's also where I got my combat action ribbon. Combat is a drug, and I loved it. You always feel awkward saying that, or you're not supposed to say because of all the horrific things that have happened and it's horrible, but I was at home. I've always been a field Marine. I've always loved to go out and, actually do whatever the Marine Corps wanted me to do at the time and stuff. So I think my personality is a unique one in the aspect that I'm not your typical female Marine in any way, shape, or form. And the guys looked at me as one of the guys, and I held my own. So between the second and the third deployment, I did have a bit of a hard time. Some higher-ups didn't really care for my demeanor, and so there was, I wasn't allowed to go on the next deployment right away. And that was a really hard one for me because a lot of my Marines were going back, and I had them begging for me to go. And so a really big challenge for me was when they got back. Dealing with that is even a bigger situation because now you got both of them are alcoholics. One's missing half of his intestines. The other one's got nightmares because he saw his friend shot, and then he saw him blow up. And nobody for 2 days told him that he had actually survived and that he was okay. So it fucked with him mentally. You feel guilty because you didn't get to go out, and the reason why was some bullshit. Certain little things just bit me in the ass, and and stuff. And so, you know, when I got back stateside, it was 10 times worse. Even though the combat aspect of it, a lot of mine was how I got treated outside of it due to my stature, especially after the 3rd deployment. The XO, he had this thing. He mentioned, he's like, oh, you're a female and you did this and you're just trying to be a boy. Why are you trying to be a boy? And I straight up told him, I was like, this is the way I've been my entire life. I'm not a super girly girl. I hold my own. This is what it is. If I ever got in this situation, I made sure I was prepared as I could be with the background that I have and being a female. It has nothing to do with male, female. My rank says that I should know how to do certain things. And if I don't, and somebody dies or somebody gets hurt or something gets fucked up, that's on me, and I'm not about to let that happen. Where it got a little difficult is after I've had Marines call me up and tell me that I can't call them anymore. Like straight up, you can't call me. You take that first step to actually admit and do that and reach out when that door gets shut in your face because they have a wife or they have a family that doesn't understand. I used to hoard my pain meds, and I got to the point to where I could know how much that I could take and drink and still be functional and be okay. And I used to take it in order to sleep. I was in such a bad place with everything that I literally had walked out and I said, somebody better figure out where the fuck I live because I'm not coming in tomorrow. I was completely alone and I was being messed with that badly. I was sexually harassed on my last deployment after I came back from 1-2. I told what was going on and they told me that they would take care of it and it didn't cease. It was about my 8th counselor and I walked in. I didn't like her, but when I initially went into her, I said to her, I don't want to do this. I think it's pointless. I said, but I need help. It wasn't just me being honest with her. I was being honest with myself for the first time about all of it. Well, it's hard to open up because you're taught and you're trained, you know, it's embedded in you like day in, day out, suck it up. You know, suck it up, push on. You know, in the Marine Corps, you're taught, you know, you don't show that. You don't do it. You don't ask for help. You don't ask for, you know, just deal with it, put it to the side, carry on. So to actually go in and say, try to break that stigma of thinking that you're weak for going in is a challenge. But all in all, I am glad that I did it. I had to come up with my own coping skills. I started training jiu-jitsu. And then I started doing more things that I loved. I started lifting, did a figure competition, did my first strongman competition, made my pro MMA debut. I trained with Cyborg, took me under her wing. We've been friends for the last 8 years. She got me my first pro fight. I find what works for me. And now I have a 3-year-old daughter. I still have my moments. Having her doesn't take that away completely at all. And when I do start to feel that way, I can look at her and I do say to myself, what example are you setting? And I've also started, you know, going back to church. And that's one of the ways that helps me. And then I've gone back to counseling. I don't allow my pride to get in the way anymore. You're on your own journey to figure out what works for you to get you through, but you're not alone in that. Because there are so many organizations or there's so many other people that have gone through that have reached out. The moment that you do, it's the biggest weight lifted off your shoulder. So if another veteran can learn from that just a little bit faster and doesn't have to fail as many times because they happen to see, especially females, it's okay to say this fucking sucks. I don't want to do this. But I know I need to do this, and I'm going to give it a shot. It truly is a blessing, and it is an honor to be a part of this. To look at history and to know that my daughter is going to be able to walk in there and really be able to say, my mom is a part of history. And nobody can take that away from either one of us. Hopefully it makes her extremely proud that she comes from me and that she can be anything, that I had the strength to get through everything that I have survived. And I want her to know that she has that same exact strength. So if I can do it, she damn well can do it.